What's up? I'm Nevaeh, and you're watching Nevaeh's Chin. And on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about what they don't tell you about having a spiritual awakening. So let's get into it. One, they don't tell you how lonely it is unless you know other people who are having a spiritual awakening, and given that it's that it's such a personal experience, you probably won't, because it isolates you to teach you that you can teach yourself, like you're your own teacher, if that makes sense. They don't tell you that at all, but it's almost like to prepare you for it, because if you didn't go through it the way that you do, you would not have learned how you did. So it makes sense, but it's something untold. They also don't tell you how dark it can get, because you can fall into such like crazy mind patterns, like thought patterns, I mean, because of everything. And like you just lose all motivation and stuff like that. Like people don't tell you that. They don't tell you about the shadow work. They don't tell you about the inner child until you're in it. And then once you're in it, you're like, well, yeah, I know that now. But that's because it's such a personal journey that you have to experience it on your own by yourself to teach you that you are all you need. And I know people are like, that's messed up, but it's not. It's quite beautiful. You have everything you need, and everything that you're searching for from other people is in you. And that's why it doesn't feel right when you do get what you were looking for from other people, because you're just looking for you and others. Yeah, I know that was a little preachy moment, but I'm always like this, so you're gonna have to get used to it. Another thing they don't tell you is how there's more than one spiritual awakening. So far, I've been through two, maybe three. I think the first one I didn't know about, and the second one I did, and the third one I'm in right now. And it all loops together, like it all connects eventually. Like I'm learning about astrology and stuff, and I'm realizing that like Mercury, Mercury in retrograde taught us about ourselves and inner, and Pluto going into retrograde in April is teaching us about taking what we learned from inner and working on it outer with other relationships. I know that wasn't grammatically correct, but you understand what I'm saying. It's like taking what you learned in your own personal relationship with yourself and putting it towards new relationships, or the ones you already have, or like picking better choices and better explanations and like understandings of others, because you understood yourself from the other one. And I'm just realizing how it all just like connects. Like it all just makes so much sense. They don't tell you how peaceful it is, although it is chaotic, and you're constantly healing, and you're constantly like almost in a panic. Like you're like, how do I explain that? But it's the most peaceful chaos, because you know that you're on the right track. You're just like, this is kind of scary. It's like when you're happy about something, you get anxious, but you're still like, no, this is good, this is good. They also don't tell you how hard it is to keep people who aren't spiritual in your life, because there's just such a disconnect when it happens, because you're at a higher vibration. Oh, that's another thing. I'll say that next. You're at a higher vibration. They don't understand that, because they didn't go through all of this that you did. And even if they did, they don't have to see it in your perspective. And the other thing I was going to say is they don't tell you about how when you elevate, your life falls beneath you. And I know that sounds weird, and you're like, you die? No. Yes, but no. You create a new reality when you higher your vibration, if that makes sense. So For that to happen, the transformation, everything else has to crumble so that it makes room for your new stuff and like your new reality and like the new improvement you've done for yourself, for like, so new people, new things, new places and stuff like that. And I didn't understand that the first spiritual awakening, because it was my second, but I didn't know it was my second until I'm talking right here in this video and I realized, oh, that's not even the first. But I wasn't aware of what was happening, so I was like, why is this happening? But I know now. Also, you just figure things out later. Like, you're like sitting there and you're like, oh my gosh, that happened so I could be here today, or that happened because this, and it brings you a lot of peace, understanding, and clarity, but it can also bring you confusion if you're not balanced. And balance is a key thing that I don't think people talk about when you're first starting. Balance. You have to balance your health, and that means mental, physical, and emotional, yeah, health, and learning. You also have to remember to learn every day, which is hard. Your brain like craves learning, so if you're not learning or like reading new things or finding new things out, you get kind of bored. Like, your brain gets bored, so it does chaotic things, if that makes sense. They also don't tell you how demonic people think it is for some reason when they don't go through it, because it just seems really odd from a lower perspective. And I'm not saying you're higher than them or lower, I mean vibrationally. They don't tell you how these people think that you're demonic because somehow you just magically got your life together and you're talking about the stars and the planets and the tarot cards, and people are like, no. Yeah. I think that's a brief little thing that I'm gonna do, a brief little video. I'll do another one maybe, because there are so many things that we don't talk about. But yeah, this is a quick little video because I, again, like I said in my last video, had to refilm all of these. So this is the second refilm. And then I have one more, which is about grief. So look out for that one. Thank you for watching, and remember to hydrate. That is important. And take care of your emotional self. That matters. And learn. That's all I have. Peace.